Welcome back, everyone, to Big Shots Extras. No Bruce Buffer intro this week. Nick threatened to walk off the show if I did. I am Mike Hrynyshyn. He's Nick. I do this every week. He's Nick Price.
Damn it, Mike.
My dyslexic ass always manages to mess us up. It's because you're on my right. That's why I do that. So I point to my right, realizing that it's flipped. But dyslexia, tis a bitch. Anyways, I'm Mike Hrynyshyn. He's Nick Price, both the Blue Chip Scouting. And we decided to do a little bit of a change to the overall theme of Big Shots Extras. Rather than kind of going over some players that we've watched and whatnot, we wanted to make sure that there was enough difference between the live show and the podcast that they didn't just cancel each other out. So it's Friday. It's Friday Funday. We're just going to take Friday nights. I mean, it's 7 o'clock and kick back, crack open a beer, and we'll talk about the week that was in football. Any news, any sort of fun, discussion we can do, whether about prospects of the past or just any of those like random things you'll see on Twitter to just drive engagement. Like we will talk about one later in this show, but we just kind of felt it was time for a bit of a change. We obviously not used to doing a second, like a live show in addition to the podcast. So these things happen. It'd
be like
hopefully that. Maybe next week it'll be like a Q&A. It'll change depending on what happens during the week. So Nick, now that I've spent 2 minutes rambling on about everything and nothing at the same time, how are you?
Not doing too bad. I want Ravens and Browns Twitter to get their shit straight, but I mean, other than
I would also prefer that.
Yeah, it's bad for business, guys. Stop arguing. All right.
Oh,
just crack open a beer and just chill, man.
Right?
It's not that deep. But, just kind of jump right into it, man. But Baker and Lamar both aren't perfect, but they're not god awful either. Just get over yourselves.
I would say, hot take alert. They're both good in their own way.
Yeah,
and they both aren't perfect players.
Yeah, I think like there's that part of the Browns Ravens relationship where the Ravens became the Browns became the Ravens, and the Browns weren't around for a few years, and the Browns came back, and people were salty about that. So I mean that's probably has something to do with it, and it's just natural AFC North rivalry. Everybody hates each other. It's a fun time.
Yeah, definitely. The main reason we decided to do this change for today specifically is there actually has been some news around the NFL this week, which in July there generally isn't. This is usually the dark days of the NFL offseason. We're trying to podcast or do live shows. I believe Shakespeare said it best, it's a bitch. However, a former first rounder has requested a trade, and he was a first rounder just 2 seasons ago. And that is N'Keal Harry, wide receiver of the Patriots. So, let's talk about that.
As someone who's kind of a N'Keal Harry fan, granted, like 2019 was the first year I really sunk my teeth into scouting. So this one kind of bites me in the ass. Well, we'll get more into that later on when we talk about the rest of the class. But yeah, man, at the time, people were saying Harry's, he's getting the Anquan Bolden comps because he's a fairly big receiver who's good with possession catch, but he's not overly fast. Great career at Arizona State, and then he shockingly goes to the Patriots at the end of round 1, and then he kind of hasn't done very much in New England. I don't know. It's probably a combination of just he hasn't fully developed all the way, and that his playing time has kind of been diminished. And you see, that's my kind of fella right there, all right?
Yeah,
that's my kind of dude. Drinking Rolling Rocks, especially as a college student. All right, cheap beer's the best.
By the way,
this is a Carlsberg, by the way.
Burying the lead, recent college graduate Nick Price.
Oh yeah, I graduated. I graduated from college. I just finished my last class this week. 5 weeks of hell, and I'm here. Me.
It's a good feeling. It's a good feeling, I know from experience. So congrats, Nick.
Thank you.
But anyways, back to N'Keal Harry.
Yeah. So I believe it was Harbs who wrote that article. I read it. I'm brain's fuzzy right now.
Mm-hmm.
He had a few different options up there that I kind of liked. Obviously, not to be a homer, actually to be a homer, if I'm being honest. I believe he had the Baltimore Ravens as one of his possible trade destinations, which no, thank you. I'm sorry. They just drafted Rashad Bateman. Tylan Wallace is basically going to be like your possession receiver since Miles Boykin can't do it. And they already have Sammy Watkins and yeah, like I know that's like not a high bar there, but like, dude, I don't see. It would. I personally, to me, it wouldn't be fair. It would be fair to N'Keal Harry if you just shoved him into that receiver room because he's not going to see the field very much. Still, even you know what I mean. It just won't be fair to him.
No.
However, one place that I do like, and I think they could get him for fairly cheap, is the Detroit Lions.
Well, they have nobody playing wide receiver.
Outside of like Amon-Ra St. Brown and Quintez Cephas and Tyrell Williams, that doesn't, I mean, they have nobody. So, I mean,
that is the least inspiring wide receiver room.
I saw today that apparently, I think like Harry's compensation would be like a future 6th-round pick, a conditional, I think it was.
Oh, yeah, I saw that too.
I remember I remember seeing that from someone. I think it was Adam Schefter. So, like, that's perfect for Detroit. You don't give up, like, you know, a large amount of picks to get a former 1st-round pick when you desperately need receiver. And granted, will Harry become the next Calvin Johnson? Probably not. But is he somebody? Yes.
I highly doubt he becomes the next Calvin Johnson.
Well, yeah.
I highly doubt.
But then again, Mike, I have seen stranger shit happen. Not saying it'll happen, but
no, and that had me thinking, Nick, and it's a good discussion because the 2019 draft as a whole was batshit crazy.
It was weird. I watched it on television, man.
We had Kyler Murray, by the way. Shout out to Jersey House Canada for the Kyler Murray jersey. Had to shoehorn that one in. But we had Kyler Murray go from not going to be a prospect whatsoever because he was going to be a baseball player because he was drafted like top 10 in Major League Baseball to Heisman Trophy winner, number 1 overall pick, despite meeting no metrics for quarterbacks. 5'9", barely 200 pounds, 1-year wonder, and he went number 1 overall. And the other quarterback was Dwayne Haskins and Daniel Jones. Yes, the other quarterback from that first round that's still starting, not Dwayne Haskins.
I had some bad takes on that, man. Good.
Dwayne Haskins was my QB1. It doesn't get much worse than that.
Yeah, same. I'm not proud. I want to make full disclosure. I'm not proud of that, by the way. That was really me not knowing what I was doing. Full disclosure.
2019 quarterback rankings for me. Oh God. Dwayne Haskins QB1. QB2 Kyler. QB3 Will Greer. It did. Yep. Somebody hand me an L. That is bad.
There you go.
However, I mean, think about the wide receiver class. N'Keal Harry and Marquise Brown were the only 2 first-round wide receivers that year.
Yeah, and like as a Ravens fan, I know firsthand that Brown's okay. He probably shouldn't have been a first-round pick.
Yes, we do, Truckman Lane. Yes, we do.
Yes, they exist. It's not just hockey and like shooting elk or whatever the fuck you all do up there.
Thanks, Olsen.
Wow, just got to call him out on live stream, Mike. Jesus Christ.
He's blocked. He doesn't know.
Sorry, Brandon. Sorry, man.
Anyways, when the wide receiver discussions were happening at the time, we knew Hollywood Brown was going to go number 1 overall because was going to be the first wide receiver taken. That's what I meant to say, not number 1 overall. We knew he was going to go in the first round because NFL teams were just in love with his speed.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, he's very fast, but we've seen in the NFL just hasn't translated that well.
He hasn't looked terrible in the playoffs, so that's at least something to hang your hat on. But there were times last season, man, he couldn't catch a cold. Like it was honestly shocking. And I don't know. Okay, I'm actually gonna get upset if I keep talking about it. My homerism's gonna come out, and that's not a good thing. But no,
We've
like,
learned today that homerism's bad.
it's very bad. It's a thickness. Anyway, another thing too about that class is DK Metcalf. A player that a lot of people, including myself, really, really, really liked, dropped all the way to the end of the second round to the Seahawks, and is, to no one's surprise, the best receiver in this class. In that class, not named. Oh, okay, you could debate that AJ Brown might be better. That's a whole other can of worms.
So, I wish I had. I can probably pull it up. I wish I had the actual spreadsheet on my computer rather than having to go looking through my Google Drive for it.
Yeah, I'm not doing that, sorry.
However, I know that AJ Brown was the higher of the two. I had DK like 31st overall or something like that. I wasn't a huge fan of DK that year, but goodness gracious. Like, I think Marquise Brown was like wide receiver 8 for me, so it maybe hang on. I think I actually found the board, so let me pull that up. It's taking forever. This is great television, but that's okay. My producer's pulling this up. Yeah, N'Keal Harry was my wide receiver 1, and that already shows you how bad of a start we were getting off to that year.
Yeah.
AJ Brown, wide receiver 2, and then geez, this 1-2 punch at 3 and 4 of Kelvin Harmon.
It breaks the heart.
Kelvin Harmon at 4 with Hakeem Butler at 3.
Isn't he trying to play tight end now?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah,
man.
no, it has not gone well for me.
Okay, do you want to hear something else that happened to me that class? Yes, so slow. Riley getting baited into liking Riley Ridley and DeMarcus Lodge. Listen, Brad Kelly, great guy. Thank you for following me on Twitter. You had a little something to do with that. All right, I got reading some stuff about he got tweeting a whole bunch about DeMarcus Lodge and Riley Ridley, and I kind of got baited into it. He kind of influenced me a bit there, and then we're both looking like idiots now because
no. Actually, hang on. Let me go the full quarterback. So it was Dwayne Haskins, Kyler Murray, Will Grier, Drew Lock, Daniel Jones, and then Tyree Jackson, Brett Rippin, Ryan Finley. So it's safe to say that this QB class, just on the whole, was not very good. And this wide receiver class on the whole, outside of AJ Brown and DK Metcalf, was not very good. Except for the guy that I had wide receiver 18, and that was Terry McLaurin.
Scary Terry.
Yeah, at 18th.
Yeah. Also, while we're on this class, can I bring up the most depressing story in hindsight out of this entire class?
Go for it.
Ja'Kai Polite.
Oh no!
I love Polite, man. I loved him. I wanted him to be a Raven so damn bad.
F's in the chat for Ja'Kai Polite.
And it just didn't work out. I'm so sad because he had all the potential in the world, man.
You know what I'm realizing looking back at this class at my big board? This was the last year where I did guards and centers separately in my rankings, and I'm so glad I don't do that anymore.
I don't know why you did that, man. I've never tried to do that. I'm essentially lazy, and that's just too much work. It's a terrible thing to admit on live stream, but
hey, this was also the same class that gave us Jalen Ferguson in his 27-second 3-cone drill.
Well, Mike, evidently, according to reporters for the Ravens, apparently, I'm going to laugh just thinking about it. Apparently, Jalen Ferguson looks the best he's ever been.
Hey, there we go. Who had that on offseason bingo? Best shape of his life.
Yeah, best shape of his life, man. Apparently, at age 26, he's finally clicking. I'm not holding my breath.
Wait, he's already 26?
He was 24 when he was drafted.
He's older than me?
Well, no, he was born in 95, I think.
Yeah, so he's older than me.
Yeah, he is older. Okay. Sorry, people. I've been awake since 2 a.m. So
yeah, no. Nick's day job starts at 4 a.m. So it's a grind whenever we have to whenever we go long, which I'm trying to avoid us going long.
Yeah.
But that was kind of the idea. Is with N'Keal Harry, at the time, I'll admit, I thought that him landing in New England was going to be great because they still had Tom. And, hey, what's one thing that the Patriots were able to skate by without having any production from? Wide receivers. It was largely a tight end and Julian Edelman-driven offense with James White catching the ball out of the backfield. So I figured if you gave Brady a big wide receiver to throw the ball to, that maybe we could. Oops.
Yeah, don't read his name out loud.
You can get.
I've seen streamers get baited into that. That is not good.
Mm-hmm. Yep, you can get fucked. I didn't realize that. Thank you for pointing that out. However, as I was saying, with the Patriots, if you gave him a big target, I thought that this was going to be great. They could potentially go back to another Super Bowl. It did not work because the Patriots rely on separation, and that's just something he could not do. Couldn't do it. Couldn't do it if his life depended on it. No. And it's just, I mean, you mentioned it, 6th round conditional. What are
Detroit, you got to do it, man. You got to do it. You got to put something in front of Jared Goff, man. You've got to do it. You got to do it. Just say screw it. All right. You won't lose much. Trust me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Looking back in this class, man, I feel vindicated that I was like half right about Max Crosby. All right, listen, I had him like a second or like late second, early third. He comes on and gets 10 sacks his rookie year, man. I felt so good after that. He kind of didn't do much last year. So it's kind of back to even itself out. So this year, I don't know, man. I don't know. See what he does.
Now,
they have a lot of guys there.
They do.
Las Vegas. But anyway.
Now I want to say I want to move on, segue to this. There was a post from Bleacher Report, BR Gridiron. What's the most random 1-year wonder season from a player that you can remember? So I want the people that are watching this chip in. Nick, feel free. We're just going to start listing some random ones off.
I got one. Easy. Lorenzo Alexander.
Oh, man. Are you talking about the one where he had like 10 sacks?
Yes. All right. 2016 was probably the weirdest NFL season I've ever seen. and him magically getting 10 sacks like out of literally nowhere was probably like the No, Mike, it was 12 and a half.
What?
It was 12 and a half. Yeah, at age 33. My guy picked the most random age in the most random year to have a breakout season. Granted, I realized that he didn't play very much beforehand. He's more like a special teams ace. But still.
I have one that you're going to love, and it won me a fantasy season because it was that random and that glorious. I think I actually ran the table and went undefeated because I had a stack involving this player. All right. Are you ready, Nick?
Word.
2010, this was mentioned by Kyle Krabs earlier today on the Draft Dudes. 2010, Brandon Lloyd.
I was just about to suggest that. Didn't he lead the league in receiving that year?
He did. That year in fantasy, Nick, I had Kyle Orton as my quarterback and Brandon Lloyd. So anytime that...
Hell, man.
And I went undefeated that season. But...
That's random.
I'm going to read to you the season by season career numbers for Brandon Lloyd. Are you ready?
I just looked at him. Go ahead.
Oh, well, you're no fun, but for those that are listening, 2003, he had 212 yards. Next year, 565, 733, 365, 14 yards in 2007, 364, 117, and then he leads the league with 1,448. What do you even do with that? By the way, the next year he went for 683, then 911. But still, he went from 14 yards.
14, yeah,
to 1,400.
Yeah. Flash in the pan.
Yeah, blink and you miss it. And by the way, he did that at 29 years old. Who were some other really good ones?
Well, I'm just going off of recency bias because I
go for it.
I think like the same year that Lorenzo Alexander made a Pro Bowl, like the Ravens center Jeremy Zutah also made the Pro Bowl. And Zutah has always just been solid. Even when I think he was on the Buccaneers beforehand.
Mhm.
So he's always just been solid, but like him just randomly making the Pro Bowl and then like completely crapping the bid the following year.
What was it? Peyton Hillis. I mean,
Oh,
God.
that's classic.
Gary Barnage.
Dude, what happened to him?
He
wasn't that old. He was like 28, man. He still had some years left.
Yep.
He had like 900 yards for the Browns that season, and it was like, I'm heading out.
Yep. Sam Congato. Are you too young for Sam Congato? No. My co-host cannot be this young.
How do you pronounce his last name?
It's here. SAMKON, last name GADO. You're going to love this. He literally came out of absolute nowhere.
Wait, what the hell? Sam Congato,
GADO. Why don't I just read out the stats for you, okay? It might be easier. So he came out of nowhere in 2005 with the Packers. They had everyone get hurt at running back, and he had 143 attempts for 582 yards. That is more than half of his career yardage.
What the fuck?
Do you remember Ronnie Hillman's good year as well?
Yeah, because Ronnie Hillman, I remember.
Ronnie Hillman had a good 1 year run. Didn't
the same thing happen to like No Sean Moreno or something?
No Sean Moreno. Any Mike Shanahan running back.
Right.
Tatum Bell. I think there was one named Mike Bell, maybe Mike Anderson. Reuben Drones.
Right. Oh God.
Derek Anderson for the Browns back in 2009. Remember when Brian Hoyer had the Browns at like 6-2?
Yeah.
Or 6-3. I will. The only reason I remember that is because it gave me my favorite Skip Bayless quote of Brian Hoyer has the Browns at 6-3, but with Johnny Manziel, I believe they could be 7-4.
That aged like milk.
That aged like room temperature sushi. God, what are some more really random 1 year wonders?
I'm searching Pro Bowls right now because
God, I want to say the Cardinals had like a really David Boston.
Bro. That's actually more sad than it is anything else.
Actually, yeah, that is kind of sad. He was good with the Cardinals starting out, and then his career fell apart.
Yeah.
What's more random?
Do
you remember Gerard Holloman, the safety prospect out of Louisville, like 6 years ago?
Yeah,
where he had 14 interceptions in a season.
Yeah, like that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And then went undrafted because it turns out that other than catching like lob ball arm punts, he couldn't do anything else on the field.
Damn, that's unfortunate.
I remember that was the big concern with Malik Hooker is he another Gerard Holloman?
Jesus. What the hell's his name? Josh Harvey.
Devin, I'm sure you have a boatload of these random players. I'm sure you do. Devin's like a football encyclopedia.
Damn. I'm blanking.
I'm trying to think of like random players that like just exploded to get us like fantasy titles and whatnot.
Oh, this is gonna bug the hell out of me. Who the hell was this guy?
Ben Jarvis Green Ellis in his heyday with the Patriots.
Oh yeah.
There are so many, man. There are literally so many.
I'm blanking right. There was a guy who played for I think the Niners, and I'm trying to remember. Oh, what the hell is his name?
Devin,
the
I
hell?
don't remember Jonas Gray. I don't remember Jonas Gray.
What the hell was his name, man? Was it like it's like he's a safety. He played for the Niners, I think. Deshaun Golden,
Oh, yeah.
or
Yeah, I
yeah,
know who you're talking about, yeah. Where he also had like a random 8 interception year or something
yeah. Like
ridiculous
if
like
someone knows
that.
who I'm talking about, because like it's right, his name's right on the tip of my tongue, and I can't bring it to words.
Whenever I think of a player in terms of like random stats and whatnot, I remember a quote from NFL Network's fantasy guy, Marcus Grant, who has his year-end awards. He has the Mark Bulger Award, which is the player that brings the most fantasy points in spite of himself.
Right.
So, because Mark Bulger was never good, but always fantasy relevant.
Yeah, I remember like watching those like older NFL drafts that NFL Throwback puts out. I remember like Mike Mayock getting like hyped over like Mark Bulger, then the crew like hyping up Mark Bulger, like saying such and such.
Remember Joik Bell?
Yeah, yeah.
I believe he was like the last 1,000-yard rusher for for the Lions or something
Yeah.
like that.
Okay. I got another one for you.
Go for it.
Totally random. Ahmad Brooks,
The linebacker?
a linebacker, Bengals, Niners, and Packers. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was pretty random. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Here's one. Do you remember when Zach Stacy nearly hit 1,000 yards for the Rams?
Oh God, Jesus. Speaking of random, what happened to Trey Mason, man?
Oh, pour one out for Trey Mason. I like Trey Mason. Chris Ivory is another random one that
Listen, that year in 2015 got him money. All right, I want y'all to realize, like his season with the Jets, like got him a metric shitload of money from the Jags, and it just kind of like never materialized afterwards.
Rashard Mendenhall had no, he had a kind of lengthy career.
Yeah. Oh, big one, most obvious one. I'm a dumbass for not thinking about it. Justin Forsett.
Cal Great Justin Forsett.
Yes. Yeah. He was like he wasn't having a bad 2015, and the guy broke his arm.
Yeah.
All right. That was unfortunate.
We could go on and on and on with these.
This is for any Ravens fans watching. Crockett Gilmore.
Oh,
he was
Jesus
like
Christ.
He was like halfway decent for the Ravens for a hot minute, and then like he just like flamed out with us. Apparently, he tried to come back like a year or two ago to play tackle. It didn't materialize, I don't think. But Crockett was solid. All right.
Is this the one I was thinking of? No. There was a year in which do you have any recollection of Kevin Jones, the running back for the
Yeah. I think he does politics now. I don't know.
No, you're thinking Kevin Johnson, the former Phoenix Sun. I'm talking the former Detroit Lions running back. Because he was, from what I remember growing up, relatively average. And he had a 1,100-yard season in 2004.
Yeah.
This is back in the day when guys like Lamont Jordan were being signed for big money contracts after being backup running backs for years.
God, imagine paying running backs. Could not be me.
Could not be me. Think about that. Like, Lamont Jordan, at one point the Chargers had like Tomlinson, Turner, Tolbert, and Sproles.
Oh, Mike, one more flash in the pan, guy. This might hit close to home for you. I'm going to apologize for this in advance.
Go for it.
Jason Babin.
That's a good one.
Yeah. He had like 18 sacks that 1 year in Philly. Like the guy went off.
Yeah, no, he had like a 12 or 13 sack year or something. Nick Foles. Nick Foles is 27-2 touchdown to interception ratio.
That was nuts.
Mm-hmm.
That was some wild stuff. For those of you not aware, I'm over here just looking at the 2004 draft class because why not? It's Friday.
I mean, if there are any others that come to mind in the next couple of minutes, we'll probably shout them out. But I think we'll probably start getting ready to wind this one down. I'm trying to think of those random Browns running back, or not Browns, Broncos running backs that just always hit 1,000 yards, and none are really coming to mind. I'm gonna be honest. Oh, how about a 1,200-yard season from Chester Taylor?
Yes, former Raven, great Chester Taylor. Correct me if I'm wrong. That was the year before they drafted Adrian Peterson.
Yep. He went for 1,200 yards, and then they drafted AP.
That's unfortunate, man. Chesty deserves better than that.
Mm-hmm. He was actually not half bad.
No, he was. I mean, like in Baltimore, he was unfortunately playing behind Jamal Lewis. So there's that.
Mm-hmm.
I was about to mention Jay Ratliff, but he had like several good years, but he's just a random name.
Do you remember the year which Lendell White hit 1,100 yards?
Lendell White hit 1,100 yards?
Yes, he did. In 2007, he went for 1,110 yards.
How about that?
I don't even know who Justin Fargas is, but he went for 1,000 yards that season as well.
Fargas.
I have no idea who that is. So there you go. There's a pretty random one. I don't think we could top a guy that I've literally never heard of going for 1,000 yards.
Well, he played for the Raiders, so that doesn't shock me. I just roasted the Raiders. That's messed up. I shouldn't say that. There's a lot of good Raiders fans.
Are there any others you can think of before we get on out of here? Because we've been going for a bit.
Yeah, I need sleep. Blah 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 blah. No,
we're good.
We're good.
Yeah, obviously this was something Nick and I kind of came up with on the fly a couple hours ago, just to kind of break up the monotony. Next week we'll probably do like a quick Q&A episode for this instead. But until next time, Nick is on Twitter at PriceCheck3. I'm on Twitter, MikeH_draft. Follow us, our work at Blue Chip Scouting. Follow Blue Chip Scouting on Twitter at Blue Chip Scout. Like, comment, subscribe, buy the merch. And we'll see you guys. Well, you'll hear from Nick and I on Monday, because that is when a new episode of the Big Shots NFL Draft Podcast comes out. Until then, y'all have yourselves a